Welcome back to CBS Sports HQ. Week 7 on CBS featuring the Giants and the Broncos. Jaxson Dart and the G-Men flying high after sitting the Eagles packing on Thursday Night Football. But Jaxson, those slick dance moves or might be on ice. He's going to face off against the NFL's leader in pressure rate in the Broncos. So hopefully that defense can get him going. We're going to talk to a guy who knows a thing or two about both of these teams. Our guy, Danny Kanell. We love to show him back in his old days when he was playing quarterback. On the left side, the team he was drafted to, the Giants. On the right, the team he finished his career with, the Broncos. Danny Kanell joining us now. Danny, real quick, when you see those pictures, what's it take you back to?
I mean, those were some great times. I'm surprised that they're not flying me out there to, like, toss the coin as an honorary captain for both teams, considering the illustrious career I had at both. And I'm surprised there aren't shirts made out there. But there are two phenomenal, totally different fan bases. They have different personalities, but two great fan bases that absolutely love their professional football teams. I had a great time in New York, in New Jersey, actually, and I had a great time in Denver. Great fan bases, and I think it's going to be a fun game.
They probably would have let him flip the coin, but they're afraid it would be intercepted.
You got interception. You won't let it go,
Look, Danny played in the NFL. I mean, we got anybody who's played in that league, we give him all the credit in the world.
Round of applause to our quarterback.
You can give me all the crap in the world too. I'm okay with that.
I know
it was not a great career. I'm more than willing to admit that.
We love when our guys are honest. Let's be honest about the Giants right now, guys, because I feel like this up and down roller coaster has been a lot of fun. But the reality is they're doing not so bad in the division. I mean, they're catching my Cowboys, which is saying a lot. But Danny, when you look at the Giants right now and just the division race and what they were able to accomplish beating the Eagles, what can you say about Jaxson Dart and Brian Daboll and their crew?
I mean, it's been a ton of fun, right? I think that this team is kind of being reinvigorated, and it's, maybe some of it's throwing a little bit of shade at Russell Wilson, but I don't think he really excited a lot of people in that locker room, both by his play on the field, maybe some of his leadership off the field. So now you get a rookie who's a first-round pick, which always the fans are excited about. But I do think the way he's been able to move the ball and get things done with his legs has sort of provided a spark that this offense needed, because they're not exactly lighting it up through the air. And then you combine in another rookie in Skattebo, and all of a sudden it's a ton of fun. The crowd gets into it. But I do think that is one thing of note. Both of their wins did come at home, and when they struggled was on the road in New Orleans, where they were good for a half. Then Jaxson Dart got into a little bit of trouble, got a little bit loose with the football, which he is prone to do. I'll be very curious to see if they can take this momentum and take some of this energy and take it into Mile High, which is not an easy place to go to.
Yeah, I want to double down on the rookies, because you mentioned this the choreography there with Jaxson Dart and Skattebo, and Danny, you mentioned it as well, just kind of the energy they've really ignited into this offense. To Danny's point, what is your confidence level for them taking that energy on the road? Sometimes when you're a rookie, like, well, you don't know, and you just kind of go in blind a little bit, and you don't really understand the magnitude of certain environments that you're stepping into.
Oh, I don't think it's going to be the environment that's a problem. I think it's that defense on the other side of the ball that's going to be a problem. I mean, they get after the quarterback across the board. I mean, they lead the league in sacks. They hit him. Nick Bonito is on his way maybe to being Defensive Player of the Year. And when you look at them defensively, they can cover on the outside. The Giants don't scare you on the outside. When you can cover on the outside and you don't get scared on the outside, that means you bring people and you can attack the quarterback. Look, I'm with you guys. I think Jaxson Dart has just brought a ton of energy to this team, and the coach seems reinvigorated by him, and Skattebo's ability to run over people has reinvigorated his team. But you also have to start playing NFL football, and by that I mean Jaxson Dart's fun, and he runs and he gets outside the pocket, but he's got to stay there. It's not one and done. It's one read and done for him right now. It's got to get to 2, 3, and 4. And it's hard to do when you're being pressured. That's why this week is a real challenge for him and for that Giants offensive line.
Yeah, I want to double down and talk about that Broncos defense. They had 9 sacks against the Jets on Sunday, which you kind of alluded to, right? A little birdie told me that you're going to like the comparison, the Broncos defense to the 85 Bears.
That's ridiculous. I mean, the 85 Bears defense, by the way, might have been the best pass rushing team we've ever seen. And they put fear in opposing quarterbacks. I can remember teams going in there and getting shut out and just getting beat up. I mean, talking about Hall of Famers across the board. This Broncos defense does not have Hall of Famers across the board. They have good players, and they can rush the quarterback. And I think it's going to be a problem. But to compare them to the 85 Bears, please, can we please stop with these comparisons right away?
Yeah, it's a little bit ridiculous. That was one of the all-time greats. And I know statistically they're chasing on this record, but I also think you have to consider the style of game that was played at the time. Teams didn't sit back and drop back and throw it 40 or 50 times a game like you have now. So the opportunities to get as many sacks, those just weren't there. And they were running a scheme as well with the 46 defense up front that really not a lot of people had seen, and they kind of mastered it, similar to a Tampa 2 that you heard about the Tampa Bay Bucks were running, but they were incredible. Let's just tamper the brakes a little bit on comparing this Broncos team. They're really good, maybe the best in the NFL this season, but to compare them to 85 Bears is a little bit out in front of our skis.
You can thank producer Jack for that nice note.
Of course, he knows it irritates me. That's why he did it.
Let's go to the other side of this Broncos team, though, guys, because it's kind of been a tale of two seasons, if you will, when it comes to Bo Nix. There's moments when we're like, oh my gosh, like this is why Sean Payton drafted him. And then there's moments like we saw in that game against the Jets in London where you're like, oh, I don't know about this. Pete, talk to me about the juxtaposition. How can Bo Nix start to find that consistency?
Stand in the pocket and make throws. I get it. They've made it easy on him, and they did a great job. Sean Payton's a great play caller, and he's done a great job of maximizing what Bo Nix does. He's athletic and get outside the pocket, but every time he does that, it cuts the field in half. And that means that you don't really trust him inside the pocket. Last week, they had one pass reception over 20 yards. That can't be that way. You have to drive the ball down the field. You have to be able to get chunk plays in a passing game. And Sean Payton schemed up the chunk plays that they have gotten. If you go back to last week, he threw a touchdown pass. That thing was wide open. Anybody could have thrown that pass. So I give Sean Payton a lot of credit for what he's done with Bo Nix. But let's take the training wheels off. It's time to go. Because if he doesn't go, they're not winning a Super Bowl by him bootlegging to the right and bootlegging to the left. They have to be able to stand in the pocket and make throws down the field.
That was my one criticism of Bo Nix coming out of college, was his inability to make some of those deep plays. Because even in his system that he was running at Oregon, it was a lot of underneath routes, and he had an incredibly high completion percentage. And it was like, oh, this kid is incredible. And he is a really good quarterback. But even at Oregon, when you schemed him up, he would make the big throws, and they were there, and you'd get a lot of pushback. People say, oh, see, he can make the deep throws, which he can, but the consistency isn't there. And we've talked about this a lot this season. After teams get a whole year of tape on you, they're going to take away what you do best. And a lot of that has been the underneath routes. So they're forcing him to make some of those deeper throws from the pocket, as Pete said. And then he gets a little bit impatient, a little bit frenetic in the pocket, and he can make plays outside. Last year, he was running for more positive yardage. Now teams are taking that away and trying to say, all right, no, we're going to keep you there. We're going to make you throw the ball down the field from the pocket. And it's just the consistency isn't there. And I'm really looking forward to seeing now how Bo Nix responds, along with Sean Payton, play calling wise, to see what the counter is from those teams taking them away, because they will expose your weakness. The longer you play in the NFL, they're going to expose your weaknesses and make you improve on them. And if they don't, it's going to be a long year for Bo Nix.
Selfishly, I need him to get it together because I keep playing him as my starter in fantasy, and it's irritating me, the inconsistency. So from Coach Haley, Bo, we need to get it together. On a more serious note, gentlemen, big moment happening in this Broncos game comes Sunday. Demaryius Thomas going into the Ring of Honor posthumously, of course, passed away a few years ago. Pete, when you think about the legacy and the type of player that he was, what do you remember, and how special will this moment be?
It's great. I mean, look, he was a fantastic player. He was a big physical receiver, could turn short passes into big plays, could go up and get the 50-50 ball, and was one of the all-time great Bronco receivers. And, the play that everybody remembers him for is when he bailed out Tim Tebow and caught the ball for a touchdown to beat the Steelers in the playoffs. Remember that Tebow won a playoff game, everybody said, but really it was a play by Demaryius Thomas. So when you look at him, it's sad that his life was cut short the way it was, and it's nice that he's going into the Ring of Honor, and he certainly deserves to be in there.
Before, I talked about what a great fan base the Denver Broncos have, and they have some players that are beloved as far as historically, and I think Demaryius Thomas is one of those. Just an all-time class player who made some huge plays for an incredible wide receiver on the outside. And I think, just to echo Pete's sentiment, one of those lives that just tragically was cut short. You hated to see it, but he's definitely being embraced by the Broncos family, the Broncos fan base, and it's well-deserved for sure.
Yeah, we just saw that dynamic play there against the Steelers.
Just shoved Ike Taylor away. I mean, that's what he did. He shoved him away and went in and took it in for the touchdown. It was great.
All right, guys, game pick time. The Broncos, 7-point favorites. The total sitting at 40 and a hook. Danny, what do you like?
I mentioned before, the Giants have been good at home, mile highs, incredible home field advantage, crowd, and altitude. I think the Giants come down to earth a little bit. I think the Broncos defense has a field day. Jaxson Dart better duck, or he's not going to get out of that medical tent again this time.
I'm with him. I think this is too much of an ask for this Giants offense, the way it's constructed right now, with no real threats down the field in the passing game. No Neighbors. If Neighbors was there, you play him differently. Without him, you go after the quarterback. I think it's going to be a problem for Jaxson Dart. Turn it over 2 or 3 times. And I think they're going to get after him about 4 or 5 times, put him on the ground.
4:05 Eastern on CBS. Danny, Pete, we certainly appreciate the time. Looking forward to that one. You can get ready for it by catching NFL Today Plus Sunday 10 a.m. right here on CBS Sports HQ.